Welcome to Tech Talks, everyone. We're so grateful you were able to join us today to learn more about Active Directory accounts. We have a new form and want to discuss access and a bunch of other things with that. Today, Jane Lowe is going to present for us from the EDC. We really look forward to learning more from her and appreciate her data management expertise. Please remember that all Tech Talks are recorded and posted on our YouTube channel. Last month, the monthly challenge rather for September was to locate the EMSC Data Center Best Practices Guide under data confidentiality on our website. So if you haven't had a chance already, we encourage you to familiarize yourself with this document and definitely make it your friend. We'll be putting the direct PDF link into the chat a little bit later, but right now let's turn it over to Jane. Thanks so much, Jane.
Thank you, Jane, for there's two Janes here, so we'll take all the Janes. So are you guys seeing my PowerPoint? I think so.
Yes, we've got full screen. Thanks, Jane.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Today, we're going to talk about the EDC account access, which is what the Active Directory account that James talked about. We'll go into detail of two of the upgrade features that we have to provide for managers in the state to better protect your data and to easier access to find the report that you want in Tableau. I do want to apologize in advance. I am still a little bit sick, so if you do hear me coughing, just ignore it. I'm here. So we do also want you to put, if you have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. Patty Shamil, our data manager, will be monitoring the chat today. And then we do want you to keep, if you have any questions during the presentation, keep it all the way till the end. We will have a Q&A session. Due to the full agenda today, we will address those questions at the end of the presentation. So thank you for that. So let's get started. So first of all, what is the EDC account, or what is an Active Directory account? So an EDC account is basically your account to access CLAMS and Tableau. I do want to emphasize that the account for you to access CLAMS and Tableau is the same account. So for example, if you do renew, you have to update your password every 90 days for a security measure. If you did update your password for CLAMS, it will also update your password for Tableau. So for example, one thing that we do see, a common issue that we do see a lot with our users is that maybe they update their password and then your browser save your new password for one of the website, but not both of them. Because to the browser, it is two different systems, so they won't know that it is actually two different websites. So sometimes you can log into one of them, but not the other. It could be because your browser saved, automatically filled the old password for you instead of the new password. Maybe they just didn't catch that update or something like that. But do remember that they are actually the same account. So if you can log into CLAMS using the same information, same login information, you can also log into Tableau as well. So that's one thing. So that is what we're going to talk about today. The first upgrade that we want to talk about, we are very proudly to announce, is that now that you have access level of choice, meaning that, in the past, when you have access to the EDC account, it means that you have access to CLAMS, EMS CLAMS, hospital CLAMS, and also Tableau, meaning, like response rate, states report, national reports, or hospital scores and all those stuff. So that is what in the past that we have. Right now, in order to better protect your data and to further, lower the chance of any data linkage, we have a access level 1 or access level 2. So in the future, when the state wants to request like any new account, or if you want to update any current existing account, you can just let us know. If you want to change the level, when you request a new account, there will be a detailed list showing you what is the differences, what is included in the access to help you better understand which decision you want to make. So access level 1 on your left, you can see that they will still have access to the EMS agency CLAMS and hospital CLAMS. In Tableau, they will be able to, whoever, the individual have access level 1, they will be able to see the response report for the EMS for Children survey, NPRP, and PPRP. So this is access level 1 on your left. On your right is the access level 2. Again, they will also be able to see the EMS agency claims and hospital claims. They will also be able to have the ability to print any gap report from claims and or Tableau. This is an upcoming feature that we're still working on, and we will announce more when it is ready to go. They will also be able to see a response report, again, for free of the surveys that we host, EMS for Children, NPRP, PPRP. In addition to the response rate and everything in claims, they will also be able to see state and national reports. Again, for the EMS for Children, NPRP, and PPRP. In situations like, the reason why we do this is that we want to better provide you another gate to ensure that, only authorized personnel can access your PIA info or your PAC info, because like, for example, your PAC information or the PAC PQI dashboard will only be in your state summary report, which will only be able to access through whoever has the access level 2, the higher access, but if people only have access level 1, they will only be able to see the response rate, meaning, whoever responded, non-respondent, but not your PAC information. In situations like, for example, if you have any helpers or volunteers and they're only for the survey period, whether they could be, monitoring whoever responded, helping you to call non-respondent, we would suggest you only giving them access level 1, because then they will only be able to see the response report, but they won't be able to see any state analyses or national analyses or any hospital score, any PAC information, stuff like that. So we do recommend you, if there's any helper volunteers and they only need to see the response report and claims, make sure to only give them the level 1 access. So in order to accomplish with the new access level, we also created a survey right now. Do you see this EDC form, or are you seeing my PowerPoint?
Nope, looks good.
Looks good. Okay, awesome. Thank you. So what you're seeing right now is that we also upgraded kind of a feature. Is that in the past, when you have any changes to your account, you will need to send an email to your TA or to the data management team. But now that you can do the survey, is that there is an entire data management team that will be monitoring this one. So let's say if your TA is out for a couple of days or something like that, there is more likely that you will be assessed if you submit a form, because more people are monitoring that. So there are 3 requested that you can do in this form is to create new account, removing account. If someone left the program, there's no way for the EDC to know really, whoever left your program or if they're not involved in the program anymore. So we do rely solely on the state or the managers to let us know that, hey, if someone leaves the program, obviously you don't want them to have access to your data. So you'll want to submit a remove account request. And then updating your account is, this one usually works with, in situations like maybe your grant changes from, university grant to a state grant, and then you no longer have access to the email that, you initially set up your EDC account with, because you changed the grant and maybe you have a new email address or new name or something like that. You would just need to submit an update account request, and then we'll get you taken care of. So without further ado, let's go into the form. So right now, all the forms are pre-filled because of the time that we have. But when you click on the form, the first page, it will be the same thing. We're asking for your information. So we want to make sure the request is coming from a manager or supervisor, not just anyone in the program, obviously, because we are granting access to data. So that is pretty high level. So we want to make sure we have your information. You just put in your name, your title, whatever organization that you're from, and then your work email. Make sure it is a valid email, because we will be using this email as a communication method. So if you just put a random email, we won't be able to get in touch with you. The state, just pick whichever state you are from. It is a drop-down box, and I do know some managers find it a little bit hard because you have to scroll all the way down or something to find your state. There is a little trick that you can do is, for example, right now I'm in Louisiana. If I want Alabama, then I can just press A on your keyboard, and then it will go all the way up to whichever the A's are. And let's say if I want Washington, which is all the way down, just click W, and it will go all the way down to W. So that's one trick that you can do instead of scrolling everywhere. So right now, let's do the request new account. We will click next. Once you submit that, the next page is that we're asking for, the information for the person who need access, basically the new person's information. We will need their name, their job title. The related organization is already pre-filled with whichever state that you originally put in. And then their email address. This one also needs to be a valid email address because we're using this to create their account. So for example, yes.
Jane, real quick, could you slow down for just a little bit, just connecting from point to point so that we can kind of see? It's just scrolling a little bit quickly. Thank you.
Okay, yes, we'll do. So this is the new user's email address. Make sure that this is a valid email address because we will create that account using this email address, and we're using it as a communication method. The next thing, we do need their phone number. Make sure it is in this format. The state is already pre-filled. So this is basic demographic information for the new user. We click on the next. This question, it will ask you what kind of access that whoever the new person needs. There are 3 options here. The first one is Tableau only. The second one is the CLAMS only. And the third one is both Tableau and CLAMS. If you click on Tableau, it will ask you what kind of access level that you will need. As I said, which is the one that we just talked about, is if you're access level 1, you will see CLAMS and the response rate report only. Access level 2 is that you will see CLAMS, response rate report, and state and national reports. So you can click whichever one based on your state's needs. I do want to emphasize that if you click on the second option, CLAMS only, the individual will only be able to edit, add, or update entities in CLAMS. If you want them to have the ability to export CLAMS lists, you will need to select both CLAMS and Tableau. Because if you want to export the CLAMS list, you can only do it in Tableau. We do have a suggestion is that if you are like, I'm still not feel comfortable giving the Tableau access to whoever this person is, you can give them CLAMS access only. And then you as the manager or the director have access to Tableau. You can export the list to them so they can use it. So it just depends on whichever option works best for you. Once you select whichever access that you need, we can click to the next. This is a authorization form. It is kind of an e-form. We just want to remind you that you as the requester is responsible for any unauthorized use of this data source, meaning that you do understand that you are giving access to this new person, and then you're responsible for make sure that they're using the data as appropriately. You need to check this box and then put your name as an e-signature, and then you can submit it. If you have any questions about the EDC data best practices form, it is also in the survey right here. You can click right here. And then it will go to our best practices. One thing that I do find very useful is if you click on page 4, I believe Jane will also be sending this form in the chat. Or if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to your EDC TA. And then we can send you this form as well. It's also available on our website. One chart I do find very useful is that on page 4, it does outline some of the things that we suggest you to share internally, or some of the things we suggest you to share externally, or not to share externally. So this is something that you can look at. And then we'll go back to the form. So this is basically the end of requesting a new account. It is a pretty short survey. I would say on average is about like 5 minutes to complete. We just want to know what your information is and what the new person information is. Once you complete this, you will be receiving an email from me, and we will have a demo at the end. to show you that, basically letting you know that, hey, we did receive your request, and it could take up to a week processing time, and we're looking into that. So for the sake of the demo, I'm just gonna go back real quick, a couple scrolling. Going back to the first page, I'm gonna do a quick demo if you want to remove an existing account. So the first page, again, will be your information. We want to make sure it is from a manager, supervisor, someone who's valid, basically, and know the program. And then you just need to click remove existing account, and then click next. All we need, if you're removing someone, we just need their first and last name and their work email, or whichever email that you're aware that they use it to set up their account. If you're not sure, you can put in their work email, the one that you know, and then you can just send us an email, let us know that, hey, this is the person we need to remove. Or if you have any questions, just feel free to reach out. I'm gonna click back and then show you the last request that we have. It will be update existing claims and or Tableau account information. So again, you will just need to put in your personal information and then click next. We need whoever the individual who needs to have an update for their account. We just need their name, first and last name, and the email that they're using for the account. You can choose whichever information that you would like to update. Again, it could be like maybe you change your name, or you change your title, or you change your email or something like that. You can click everything in one form, so you don't have to submit multiple forms. For example, you can just click on work email and permission access or something like that. I do want to emphasize that we do now request a reason to update the information. And obviously, we're not requesting for like a 500-word essay, why you're doing this. We just want like a brief description. Maybe it could be, your grant is changing, no longer have access to email, or maybe you get a promotion, or maybe you are more involved in the program. Now you need a new access level or something like that. It just needs a brief description, so you don't have to go into all the details. But these are all the forms that we have. I'm gonna jump back to our PowerPoint. And then these are the first upgrade, the feature, the access level, and everything. This is also a example of what that email will look like. It will be from me, and then basically letting you know that, oh, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or you can just reply to the email because it will be sending from my email. And then the second upgrade that we have is that we did some reorganization in Tableau. The main goal to do that is that we want to make sure it is that easier for you to find the report that you need in Tableau. In the past, it is more with a project base. And then, for example, if you have like EMS for children, and then the response rate, the state report, or the national report, they're all in the same folder. And then sometimes it might be a little hard to find the exact report that you need, because there are a lot of them. So right now we do have a new organization, and then I will show you in a minute and show you, hopefully that will be able to help you to find that. We also have to implement this upgrade to so that the access level choice that will work for Tableau, which is one of the reasons why we did the reorganization. You're also welcome to follow along as well. So let's click on the first folder, which is the claims list. When you click on that, you can see that this is, the claims AMS agency and claims hospital list for exports. I personally like to use the list view instead of this grid. In order to do that, I would usually click on this little thing on the top right corner, and then click on list, and then boom, it changed to a list instead of the grid. I personally like this. You don't have to do this. It is just a personal preference. I like this one because that you can see, now that you can see the full name of all the reports. Sometimes if you use the grid, sometimes the name will disappear. I also want to point out that you might be able to see the name Michael or Christine in some of the reports. I want to let you know, I want to ensure you that they are people from our IT team internally. You may or may not have chances to work with them directly, but they are our IT team. We follow the same procedure for data confidentiality. So don't worry that your data is not in danger. And then let's click Explore to go back to the page. Once you go back to the Explore page, let's look at the EMS for Children folder. Again, on your left is the Access Level 1. Again, they will only be able to see the response rate report. If you're Access Level 2, they will be able to see the national reports, response rate report, and state report. If we click on National Report, this is an overview of what kind of report is in each folder. We try to make the name as short or as self-explanatory as possible. So if you look at the national report, is where the national summary report lives. If you look at the state report folder, the state, which is where the state summary report is. And the responsory report is where the responsory report folder is. So these are all the where all the dashboards are. We try to make this so hopefully it will be easier for you to find the report that you need. And then let's click back to Explore so we can look at other folders. The next one we want to look at is the NPRP Hospital Pediatric Readiness. Again, on your left is the Access Level 1, where they will only be able to see the response report. On the Access Level 2 on the right, they can see national report, state report, response report. I do want to point out the NPRP national reports right now. If you click on it, it is blank because the national NPRP report is only available in PDF form as of right now. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out the PEDS Ready support email, and I will have it in the end slide. Or you can reach out to your TA, EDC TA. The other thing that is different from the NPRP and the EMS for Children folder is that the state report folder has NPRP state get reports and state NPRP summary reports. So they have one more report there in the NPRP side. Let's click back to Explore, to the Explore page. And then the next one is the Pre-Hospital Pediatric Readiness folder. Again, it's the same thing. The Access Level 1 on your left, they will only be able to see a response report. And on the right is Access Level 2, the state, national, and response reports. Obviously, if you click on any of the folders right now, they're blank because PPRP hasn't started yet. So we can click back on Explore.
Jane, just really quick,
Yes.
You've got about 7 minutes left.
Yep. And we are heading to the Q&A. I do see there are some chats in the comment. I'm sorry if I was going too fast. We just have a really full agenda and I want to make sure we covered everything. Don't worry, the whole Tech Talk is recorded. This is my email if you have any questions. If you have any questions about the PEDS Ready, this is also the PEDS Ready email. Is there any chat or any question that we'll want to cover?
There's some that I answered in the chat. We could review those, but I want to make sure if anybody has any questions orally, as we can send out the transcript of the chat. I did want to clarify, Jane, that the request is an online form, not a survey. And it just so you know, and you'll be able to access that in early October. You can contact your TA and then we'll send you a link to that online form to request an account.
Yep, yeah, that's perfect. We are looking to launch this early October. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, or you can reach out to your EDC TA.
And the permissions are in place right now. Just so you know, we applied the permissions based on our knowledge and work with you. So for example, if I knew in New Jersey there were interns helping Eric, we changed them to an Access Level 1, which was just claims and response rate reports. So we did, these are in place now for you. We want you to know that this data is, secure right now.
Sorry, I'm still not sure about that.
That was Siri, not me.
Okay, I thought there's someone in the background. I'm like, what?
So there's a question in here. So all data collected, as Mark Minker correctly stated, does belong to the state partnership program. It says as well to the federal EMSC program. It's stored here at our facility and we do keep it safe, and we are under protocols from our IT division, and as well as the University of Utah. So the only ones who have access to contact information and or PEC information are you and us. You have access, if you have access level 2, to the PEC information only and the contact information. And the level 1 has access to the contact information. I just want to clarify that we have access just to provide you with creating future reports, but no other entity, including any other resource centers or anybody else related to EMSC, do not have access to this data as of last Monday. It was shut down. Greg Edwards asked if there's some language somewhere that details how the EDC uses the data. We can, if you review the document that Jane showed you, that outlines information on that. Mainly, we do this for aggregate reports only. We never give reports on individual hospitals or to individual people. So we can review that with you or contact your TA for more information on that. Mikey, you feel free to jump in at any time.
Yeah, that the data confidence, I think the data confidentiality document Patty's referring to describes our uses of the data and our protection of the data, but essentially we use the data in CLEMS solely for purposes of administering assessments and it's really for survey administration purposes. And that, we don't use it for any other, we don't use the contact information for any other purpose or reason than that. Only for administering the surveys, and then we have also sent out reports based on the survey results, the aggregate reports to agencies, EMS agencies, to basically thank them for participating and show, at a national level, the results of the assessment of the survey, in hopes of trying to get them to, be engaged in the process in the future.
Thank you for that, Mike. One thing that I also wanted to mention was that anytime a new person that's working with you in your EMSC program, anytime they get an Active Directory account or access, it is incredibly important that they have an orientation with an EDC technical assistance liaison to kind of help them navigate the system, to understand better data confidentiality. This is something that we're happy to provide anytime you want to jump on a call and, meet with that person so that you can kind of clarify expectations and, that level of access. We like to have a new user do all of the driving so that they can see what they have access to, but that they really cement, how to navigate CLEMS or Tableau, whatever access you're giving them, in a more functional way, so that there aren't any questions, and so that they can also make a connection with us to be a support in the future, especially during data collection periods. So thank you for that. I noticed that we are
Hey Jane, just a quick thing, super quick. If you all have to tell us to remove somebody because we do not know. So if you're using an intern and they have a Gmail account and you don't tell us, and they leave your organization, they will still have access to plans and response rate forms, etc. So please inform us if somebody you have granted access to has left your organization.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Patty. That is incredibly important. We want to make sure that we keep as, your data as safe and confidential and with the access that you approve of. So with that, we are out of time. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to your EDCTA, and we'll be happy to discuss that with you. Next time, you're going to hear from yours truly about the Zoom room. We're going to have fun with features and customization that will cover everything from Zoom backgrounds to creating an avatar, customizing your icon, and a whole lot more. So please keep that on your calendar. It will be the last in the 2023 series before we take a break for the next series starting in 2024. So we look forward to seeing you in October. And just remember that all of our Tech Talks are recorded. We'll be sending out the link shortly. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great day.